In terms of management response, Chair, it's on page 4. The auditor's observation is noted. We wish to inform the committee that the cost of income ratio for the year 2022 and 2023 were 64% and 44% respectively, against a CSP target of 76%. Kindly refer to page 24 of the attached corporate strategic plan appendix 2. Chair, the appendix is attached to submission. However, we have observed that the disparity between the cost of income ratios calculated by the auditors and the society are higher than those advised above. The society uses the formula indicated below when computing its cost to income ratio. This is also formula used in the CSP. The formula, Chair, is cost to income ratio is equals to total operating expenditure plus gross revenue minus interest expenses minus loans provision. It's worth noting that the society's cost income ratio has reduced progressively over the 4 years horizon, as shown the trend below. Chair, the small table there which shows the cost of income ratio in 2022 is 64%, in 2021 was 86%, in 2020 it was 87%, and in 2019 it was 95%. This favorable outcome is because of the intentional cost optimization initiative that the society continues to implement. Furthermore, when compared to other institutions within the non-bank financial institution grouping, the society's cost to income ratio was below the group average. Chair, in the response there is a table which is in big black, cost to income ratio, Zambia National Building Society versus banking institution. Chair, as you can see, the ZNBS is number 4, moving from the left to the right. Compared to the other institution. This chart just to show in terms of how the company, the institution is faring compared to other institutions in the market. Regarding staff cost to total operating expenses ratio, the ratio has progressively reduced on average over the years, as shown in the table below. Chaired staff and staff cost to total operating expenses in 2022 was 59%. And in 2021, 62%, 2020, 64%, and 2019, 63%. The society expects this ratio to continue reducing as the digitization strategy is actualized. The process streamlining and the automation from digitization will result in more efficient operation and cost reduction. Chair, on the same page 4, the next is the statement of financial position. To extend to page 5, Chair, there is a table there which shows the statement of financial position of Zambia National Building Society, comparing the 2 years, 2021 and 2022. Chair, on top there, they've got assets in bold there, and below the total assets is indicated figure that's 2.2 billion in 2022 compares to 1.7 billion in 2021. There is also liability below there, and the total liability is 1.5 billion in 2022 compared to 1.1 billion in 2021. And the equity figure there is also shown. In 2022 is 696 million compared to 588 million. Then total equity and liability, Chair, is also indicated there, and the accumulated profit are shown. And the total equity versus liability, Chair, these figures compares the two periods. In terms of the queries, Chair, from the audit observation is the increase in the gearing ratio. The gearing ratio compares the institution equity to its total debt. That's what it's trying to measure. And Chair, moving on page 6, there is a table which is showing the total debt and also the total equity, and the gearing ratio is calculated for 2022 is 95%, for 2021 is 80%, and the acceptable ratio according to the audit is 50%. Chair, in terms of the management response,
just PSO, just on that one, I think the committee may wish to guide that in the interest of time, just go on the title and then on the response, so that we move, because honorable members have read through and have understood, so it will be easier for us to move in that direction.
Thank you, Chair. Well guided.
Chair.
Yes, so Honorable Kampiongo.
Thank you so much. Also that we received a submission on this matter from the Auditor General, and I think this is also one matter like the first issue the PS was guided to skip in terms of profitability. It would appear is that correct? So the position is that this matter has been responded to, and the view of our permanent witness is that it cannot be pursued from this committee. So we can go to the next item.
Thank you so much, Honorable Kampiongo, for that observation. I think PS we can proceed that way.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, honourable members of the committee. Let me then move to page 7, Chair. There is item C there, operating matters, management of loans. The first issue, Chair, is the mortgages without collateral. The management response, Chair, is the audit finding is acknowledged. The committee may wish to note that the background of this matter is that the society had disbursed mortgages to customers. At the point of disbursing the mortgages, the customers had provided security documents in the form of certificate of title or land record cards. The security documents were lodged at the Ministry of Lands and the Council for registration of the mortgages, but the documents were misplaced or lost. As a result of this, the society had to commence the process of obtaining duplicated title deeds. The society has been engaging the Ministry of Lands and the councils for the resolution of the matter. As a result, there has been significant improvement, with only 5 mortgages valued at 668,984.16 that did not have collateral from the 116 mortgages previously reported to PAC or to this committee. Application has been made to obtain duplicate certificates of title for the 5 mortgages. This will enable the society to perfect security with the Ministry of Lands and the councils. The internal legal staff are making constant follow-up with the Ministry of Lands and traveling to councils outside Lusaka to ensure perfection of security and closure of these findings. Management anticipates closing this finding by 31st March 2023, Chair. I beg your pardon, there is an error there. It's supposed to be 2023.
2023. Honourable members, let's observe that one. We'll do a correction. It must read 2023 instead of 2022.
The following remedial measures have been put in place to avoid recurrence of the query. Mortgages are only disbursed after security are perfected, and once lodged, constant follow-up are made to uplift title. Monthly reports on securitization are being provided to the risk department, management, and quarterly to the board of directors. Chair, I move to page 8. The society has engaged the external counsel to commence the process of obtaining duplicate certificates of title and request for renewal of offer from the Commissioner of Lands. Chair, below is a table of 5 outstanding mortgages without collateral, and is provide the status of each of the 5 cases. The first one involving Moses Serene and the Happiness, outsourced to Kaumbu Mondela and Company on 21st August 2020 to procure title and perfect security thereafter. As of 27 December 2022, the court process to vest ownership into the vendor's name was drafted and now awaits filing after execution by the vendor. Once this is done, the title will be changed into the name of the customer and the mortgage perfected. The second item, Chair, is Esnat Hampongo, outsourced to Mr. Kaumbu Mondela, the same company as indicated above. The site was visited on 16 January 2022, and the firm now awaits issuance of invitation to treat from the Ministry of Lands. This will be followed by an offer and lease before the actual title deed is prepared. Item 3, Chair, is Mwaka Chibuye Devalia. The application of issuance of occupant's license to Chomatis Council was made, and still awaits action of the same. The council had not yet commenced issuance of the occupant's licenses. Constant follow-up are being made over the same. Item 4, Chair, is Nganga Manado Victoria. This also was outsourced to Kaumbu Mondela and Company on 21st August 2022. They wrote to the council to establish the whereabouts of the title as the society had initially lodged this document. We now await updated status from the firm. The last one, Chair, is Frederick Kalela, outsourced to Chilupe and Company for change of ownership and perfection. They've lodged the document at the Ministry of Lands on 21st July 2021, and the title now awaits the registrar's signature. Follow-up are being made. Chair, I move to page 9. The item there is loan repayment period exceeding 84 months. The response, Chair, is also on page 9. Management response. The auditor's comments have been noted. We wish to inform the committee that the root cause of this anomaly is a system error that the vendor, Intrasoft, failed to resolve over the last 2 years. Management resolved to correct this problem by restructuring the loans in order to reduce the tenor to within 84 months as per policy requirement. The exercise required the Zambia National Building Society to obtain customers' consent for all affected loans. A total of 161 consent letters have been received so far, while a separate total of 58 accounts have either been refinanced or closed or paid off. Therefore, from the initial sample of 307 accounts, we have a total of 88 accounts where consent letters are yet to be obtained. The process of restructuring has since commenced for all accounts where customer consent has been secured. The balance is expected to be concluded at the end of March 2023. Sample of the signed consent letter are attached below. Chair, this referred to Appendix 4. It's worth noting that the current core banking system, Prophet, is able to record the correct tenor currently. Chair, I move to page 10. This is failure to close old loans after refinancing. Chair, the management response is on same page 10. The auditor's comment has been noted. We wish to inform the committee that the cause of this exception of non-finance loan was a knowledge gap on a few branches. To close the gap, the internal memorandum was issued to address the matter, memo attached. All the affected accounts have since been remediated, except for 12 which were non-performing, and they are being managed as such in line with procedure of management for non-performing loans. Chair, I wish to refer to Appendix 6 to the document submitted. The next item, Chair, is a mortgage on page 10. And under that, on the page 11, there is an audit query regarding the mortgage above 25 years. The management response, Chair, is on the same page. The auditor's observation is noted. We wish to inform the committee that the issue refers to a system error upon migration from the old core banking system, ZNBS, to 2008 to the current one, Prophet. To effectively close out the issue, management had engaged the vendor, Intrasoft, to resolve this anomaly, and this process didn't work as the vendor could not provide a technical solution. Management then resolved to engage the affected customers to close off the old loan account and to recreate new loans on the system to correct the anomaly. This process of obtaining customer consent is currently ongoing, with 91 loans remaining open to be corrected from the initial 115. Expectation is to conclude the exercise by end of March 2023, this year, Chair. The next item is the non-performing loans, mortgages. It's on same page 11, Chair. In terms of management response, it's on the same page. The auditor's observation is noted. We wish to inform the committee that the foreclosure are several processes that have to be met before foreclosure and repossession occurs. The ultimate result may not be a foreclosure when the matter are escalated to the court of law, as the customer may be granted consent to pay a reduced amount. In other instances, customer may be paying through payment plan, and there may be a delay in foreclosure due to the challenges with securities. Note that the number of accounts that will qualify for foreclosure on the assumption that the society is granted favorable judgment stand at 23 and broken down as follows. 3 accounts have been issued with demand letters. 10 accounts are in the legal process and courts await judgment. 4 accounts are being handled by external lawyers pending issues with securities. 2 diseased accounts are pending to locate administrators. 1 account awaits writ of possession. 1 account awaits engagement of the sheriff office to facilitate repossession. 1 account is on consent judgment. 1 account has been voluntarily surrendered pending fresh valuation. Other reason for inability to foreclose the remaining 29 accounts are stated below, Chair. 11 accounts relating to a mortgage scheme with budget insurance. The court passed a verdict regarding the amount which should be paid in settlement of the sum owed, which has since been fully paid. The account currently have balances comprised of suspended interest has since been reversed in line with the policy and guidance from the regulator. 6 accounts, the society obtained court consent judgment and customers are paying through the same. Should the payment as agreed with the court being breached, the society will have the right to commence foreclosure proceedings. The society cannot foreclose on cases where the court has granted customer consent payment. 9 accounts where the foreclosure process has been completed and properties have been repossessed and advertised. Unfortunately, there have been no buyer for the properties. These are still on the market, Chair, and they are waiting to be sold. 2 accounts have closed. In 1 account, the account was written off on 28 September 2021. However, due to the migration challenges onto Prophet, the balance could not be brought to nil. This has now been resolved. The mortgage was under ZAST scheme where there was no security. Chair, I move to page 13. The response continues. Chair, I need to acknowledge that we circulated a new page, to just correct the table on on page 13.
Just hold on, witness. Honorable members, do you have that page? Okay, you may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The answer continues, Chair, on page 13. We wish to advise the committee that the society over the years has put in place measures to ensure that 1, funds are advanced to credit-worthy clients. 2, recoveries from clients are done prompt. 3, worthy clients are assisted through restructuring or restructures. 4, repossession and disposal happens to the next possible for clients that end up in a delinquency state. As a result of these efforts, the non-performing ratio has progressively, on average, reduced as shown in the trend below. Chair, the mortgages there for the period 2019, December 2019 to 22, is 10% in 2019, 6.5% in 2020, 5.1 in 2021, and in December 2022, 4.2. We see the non-performing rate, Chair, going down. The next item, Chair, on page 13, it's staff mortgages issued above 20 years. The response, Chair, is on the same page. The auditor's observation is noted. This arose as a result of a delay to update the terms and conditions of service following Board of Directors approval to increase the length of mortgages. To ensure that this does not occur, the terms and conditions of service now refer to the staff lending policy. That is updated with the board approved terms and conditions relating to the credit for employees. Further, the 52 loans were also restructured to align with the wording that was in the staff terms of condition at the time of the audit. It's worth noting all loans relating to senior members of staff were approved by the Board Credit Committee in accordance with the Bank of Zambia Insider Lending Directive. Chair, what we are referring to is in Appendix 6 in terms of the board approval. The next item, Chair, on the same page 13, it's staff mortgages above 1 million. And the response from management is the audit observation is noted. The maximum loan value amount at the time of the audit were governed by the board directive, which allowed lending a maximum of 1.5 million kwacha. However, the staff terms and conditions of service was not updated to reflect this, as it was reflected lending gap in Zambian kwacha 1 million. It's worth highlighting that the Board of Zambia National Building Society, in its meeting held on 24th September 2020, resolved to remove the cap on maximum mortgage loan amount of 1.5 million and the same to be determined by what the customer can qualify for based on the applicable credit assessment criteria. The current position is that only 4 accounts remain open and they are compliant with the current policy of staff terms and condition of service updated in April 2022. Note that the staff terms and condition of service are read together with other policies and board resolution. Hence, where a board resolution is passed, the implementation is immediately and the relevant document are updated periodically, usually every 2 years. This is reflected, Chair, in Appendix 6. It's worth noting all loans relating to senior members of staff were approved by the Board Credit Committee in accordance with the Bank of Zambia Insider Lending Directive. Chair, the next query is unregistered mortgages on page 14. The management response is the audit finding is noted. The number of unregistered mortgages stands at 17 with a value of 3,742,000. These are all certificates. These all have certificate of title. These are mortgages which have remained unregistered due to the need to obtain court orders or upgrade documents. The process to complete the registration process is underway. The committee may wish to know that this query arose as a result of the title deeds which were lodged and misplaced at the Ministry of Lands Councils at the point of registration of the mortgages. The society obtained duplicate certificate of title. However, due to the time it took to obtain the same, it was found that other conveyance documents were missing and needed to be upgraded as they expired. Further, one of the challenges in the perfection of security has been the fact that the mortgage guards or some vendors are now deceased. To resolve the matter, the institution has made application into court to obtain court order to request the registrar of the High Court to sign on behalf of the deceased vendors or mortgagors. Other outstanding mortgages require documents to be upgraded. Chair, I move to page 15. Measures have been put in place to ensure that mortgages are fully registered and title deeds uplifted timelessly to avoid loss of documents at the Ministry of Land or the councils. Trackers on unperfected security are submitted on a monthly basis to the risk department, management, and quarterly to the boards. In the event that there was a default on the facility, the society will be able to enforce the mortgages on an equitable mortgage and recover the fund. Chair, in terms of, there is a table below indicating the outstanding mortgages. Item 1 referred to Godfrey Nkata and Jennifer Piri. We received the parent title from ZISC on 26 January 2023, and they are now proceeding to attend to marking off for the client subdivision alongside renewal of the consent that had expired. For item 2, Chair, is the Chavwa Malambo Nyambe, received the parent title from ZISC on 25th January 2023, and are now proceeding to attend to the marking off for the client subdivision alongside renewal of the consent that had expired. Item 3 is Robert and Seals Financial Services. The society wrote a letter to the Mogega and the Administrator General for the cancellation of the facility. The said letter was delivered on 8th December 2022, and we now await an official response from the AG. Item 4, Chair, is Crispin Anchupi. The society lodged at the Ministry of Lands on 17th November 2021, and the follow-up with the dealing officer and the chief registrar was made on 23rd December 2021. The dealing officer was tasked to work on the registration of the document. Item 5, Chair, is Eunice Ngoma. The society lodged at Lusaka City Council for the registration on 30th March 2022, and the follow-up letter over the uplifting of the document was delivered to the council registrar on 23rd September 2022. A formal response was being awaited from them. Item 6, Chair, is Achudu Mutinta Vines. We are in the process of obtaining consent to assign at Lusaka City Council. Currently waiting for the client to clear outstanding rates. The client was already communicated to. Item 7, Chair, is Munungu Thomas Alexina. We outsourced to TMN on 14th November 2022. They've already commenced the court process to have the registrar execute all the documents on behalf of the parties. Item 8, Chair, is Kasongo Mwape. We outsourced to TMN on 14th November 2022. They've since drafted the court process for the withdrawal of the subsisting caveat and just await the caveat details from the council before the same can be filled. Item 9, Chair, is the Kabila Deborah Mwila. We outsourced to Lungu Simwanza for the perfection of security and foreclosure on 5th August 2020. The firm just awaits the signing of the court order to allow the registrar to execute the conveyancing. Item 10, Chair, conveyancing of the document on behalf of the parties. I move, Chair, to page 16. Item 10, Chair, is the Mwale Martin. The document were queried on account that the lease was for 14 years lease. We outsourced the TMN on 5th January 2023 for the upgrade of the lease to 99 years and subsequent perfection of security. Item 11, Chair, is the Sumunika Stephen Mayemwa. The document were outsourced to TMN on 14th November 2022, and the court process to obtain probate and court order allowing the sale for an administrator have already been drafted. Item 12, Chair, is Kapoli Jonas and Esther Mwanza. The documents were outsourced to TMN on 14 November 2022, and the court process to obtain probate and court order allowing for the sale by an administrator have already been drafted. Malambo Mao Mwinga, the document, that's item 13, Chair. The document were outsourced to TMN on 14th November 2022, and the court process to obtain probate and court order allowing the sale by administrator have already been drafted. Item 14, Chair, is Kapinda Angela. We renewed consent to assign on 9th January 2023 and now awaits the client to pay registration of assignment fees before we can lodge all the documents for change of ownership and the perfection of security. Item 15, Chair, is Tisalameri. We outsourced to TMN on 16 March 2022, and they are almost concluding with perfection. The authorization letter from the Council is almost ready, as documents were submitted on 16th January 2023. Item 16, Chair, is Chileshe Miranda. We outsourced the TMN on 16 March 2022. They are now at ZRA stage, having had the contract and deed of assignment executed by both parties. Item 17, Chair, is Walia Bernadette. We outsourced to MTN on TMN on 16 March 2022, and the court document to have the registrar to execute the conveyancing document are in place. They will be proceeding to file once they've obtained probate and court order to sell. Chair, the next audit query is on same page 16. This is loss of rental due to non-occupancy. The response, Chair, is on page 16. The auditor's observation is noted. The committee may wish to note that non-occupancy in the latter period of 2020 to 2021 was mostly due to the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. As at the end of February 2023, is it 2022?
Because it is 2022, so advise us.
It's 2022. Chair, apologies. I think the typo there is supposed to be 2022. 27 of the 47 identified vacant spaces have been taken up. Only 29. As at the end of, because the February hasn't yet ended. That's what I was thinking. It's supposed to be January? Chair, I think
can you guide us? Is it February 2023 or it's January?
Chair, I'm informed January 2023. This is as per last month. The status is being reported as per last month. January 2023. 27 of the 47 identified vacant spaces have been taken up. Only 29 vacant spaces are available for letting out. It's worth noting that the society total occupancy rate for the properties portfolio is 95%. This is against a target of 95%. Chair, on page 17 I move. That is included in the corporate strategy plan. The society has continued with marketing efforts to increase the occupancy rate to even higher than 95%. The next query, Chair, under D there is on page 17, accounting irregularities, misappropriation of funds. Chair, the response is on page 18. Management identified 15 new controls to strengthen the payroll process, of which 13 have been fully implemented, translating to a completion rate of 85%. The remaining 2, totaling 15%, require system alteration to improve control within the system and are scheduled to be delivered by the new system vendor by 31st March 2023. Staff involved have been taken through the disciplinary process and reported to the law enforcement for prosecution and possible recovery of amount involved. To deter incidences of fraud, the society has instituted a fraud awareness campaign through its integrity committee and partnered with institutions such as the Drug Enforcement Commission. Chair, below there I think there is the table. I don't know if I need to go through it, reading, maybe I seek your indulgence and direction, Chair.
But it's part of your submission, not so?
Yes. It is part of the submission? This is from the auditors.
Oh, this is from the auditors.
This is from auditors.
I think we can skip it.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Allow me, Chair, to move to page 19. Failure to mitigate operational risk. Chair, the response is on page 20. The management response, Chair, the auditor's observation is noted. Management has put an action plan to address the issues, and so far the progress made has been captured below. Mazabuka, the contract for painting, tiling and repair of defect has been awarded, and the contractor is taking possession of the site on 10th February 2023. The works will be completed by 1st March 2023. The tender for the installation of the fire alarm, smoke detectors and the firewalls reel is currently running and will close on 17th February 2023. The works are planned to be concluded by mid-March 2023. The safe room will be reinforced by the contractor who is moving on site on 10th February 2023, and this will be closed by 1st March 2023. For Chipata, Chair, the contractor for frosting and branding of glasses has been awarded. The frosting of the glasses will be done by 28th February 2023. The industry practice is that the security guard is not supposed to be armed, but the Zambia police officer stationed at the branch is the one who's supposed to be armed. This is in line with public safety, and as the security guards are not adequately trained to handle firearms. The aircon was replaced on 20th October. Chair, I think it should be 2022, because we haven't yet reached October. Management just confirmed that this is correct, it's 2022. Chair, I'm informed that is 2022 October. That's for Chipata, Chair. Then Livingstone, Chair, the contract for frosting and branding of glasses has been awarded. The contractor has been on site to take actual measurement and design of the branding. The frosting of the glasses will be done by 3rd March 2023. The contractor is already on site, and the ATM canopy will be replaced with a much bigger one by 1st March 2023. The premises has a design challenge where entrance is very high to the extent that even if the ramp is constructed, it cannot be practical for use by both disabled and the able-bodied. The society considering cutting through the slab without disturbing the structural integrity of the building. Chair, honorable members of the committee, I submit.
Thank you very much, witness. You have submitted with those corrections. Yeah, let's just make sure that the people that are typing are equal to the tasks. The dates might be a problem, not we are making mistakes on the months. I think that's why that has to be taken note. Honorable members, we have read the submissions by the Zambia National Building Society. I'll allow the questions and point of clarifications by who goes first. Honorable Kasandwe.
Thank you, Chair. PS on high cost to income ratio. in your response, you indicated that the cost-to-income ratios for the years 2022 and 2021 were 64% and 44%, respectively, against a corporate strategic plan target of 76%, as indicated on page 24 of the attached strategic plan. You've also further indicated that it was worth noting that the society's cost-income ratio has reduced progressively over the last 4 years and was at 64% in 2022 and from 86% in 2021. Our concern is how is a cost-to-income ratio of 64% a favorable outcome when under the strategic direction, first bullet point on page 21 of your strategic plan, the society had intended to reduce the cost-to-income ratio by 60%. I submit, Chair.
Witness, the PS and your team, you may take up that question, please, to respond.
Yeah, let me ask the MD and team to come in and respond to that query.
Please.
Thank you so much, Chair and honorable members. So the 60% that has been referred to by the honorable member is actually a 5-year target. It was supposed to be at the close of March 2023. You will recall that the 64% is in 2022. And as we speak, we have reduced the cost-to-income ratio further. Chair, I submit.
Honorable Kasanwe, does it answer? All right. Who goes next? The next question? Honorable Chibuye.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and thank you very much, PS, for your submission. Chair, my question goes on the mortgage without collateral. A controlling officer, in your submission, you indicated that the committee may wish to note that the background of this matter is that the society had disbursed mortgages to customers. At the point of disbursing the mortgages, the customers had provided security documents in the form of certificates of title or land record cards. Indeed, the security documents were lodged at the Ministry of Lands or the Council for registration of the mortgages, but the documents were misplaced or lost. Now, as a result of this, the society had to commence the process of obtaining duplicated title deeds. The society further has been engaging the Ministry of Lands and the Council for resolution of the matter. And as a result, there has been significant improvement with only 5 mortgages valued at 668,984.16 that did not have collateral from the 116 mortgages previously reported to this committee. Applications have been made to obtain duplicate certificates of title for the 5 mortgages management and space, closing this finding by 31st March 2022 or 2023. Now, the question, controlling officer, is this matter was raised in the Auditor General's report on accounts for parastatal bodies and statutory institutions for the financial year ended 31st December 2019. Why has it taken so long to resolve this matter, and what guarantee do you have that this matter will be indeed resolved soon? Thank you, Chairperson.
PS.
Chair, let me ask management, I think, to respond as an operation.
Please, go ahead.
Thank you so much, through the Chair. Chair, you will note that the last time we appeared before you was just a few months from today, and at that time we had 116 outstanding. We've managed to, within the 12 months period, to close out 111 within less than 12 months from the time we appeared. So we're pretty confident, Chair, that the remaining 5 should be closed out. We did consult with external lawyers looking at how far they've gone in the process, and we were given assurances that within the next few months we should be able to close out. I submit, Chair.
Honorable Chue, right, and Honorable Kampiongo, you come in as well.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you, MD. 111 is quite a significant number, and that's a job well done. What could be the problem with these 5? If you can manage 111, what is hindering the closure of these 5 mortgages?
Yeah, just take note of that question so that Honorable Kampiongo can...
Thank you so much, Chair. Controlling Officer, we appreciate the progress I've made so far. But just make us understand, at what point, I mean, do we get these documents go missing? I mean, you're talking about 100 plus. Where is the problem? You go and deposit these documents and these documents just vanish. Where is the problem? Because this is a large number. And if it was 2, 5, maybe you can understand. Can you just share with us where this problem is? Maybe we can be helpful.
Thank you, PS, you may, and your team.
Let me call upon the MD to...
Please, MD, respond to those queries.
Thank you so much, Chair. I'll ask our Society Secretary, who's directly in charge of the 5, just to give an update in terms of what challenges we're facing, but also the 5, what have been the main challenges to closing them on time. I submit.
Thank you, Chair. So just in response to the query raised, so I think the biggest challenge which has delayed the closure of these is just the processes, for instance, within the Ministry of Lands or the councils. So for the 111 which we spoke about, I think it took a lot of engagement, a lot of follow-ups for us to be able to get to a level where we were able to close off. So I think the issue with the 5 is just ensuring that documentations are in place. There's one way, for instance, we need to get a court order. So that's another process which is really outside the Ministry of Lands. So it's just the processes which have led to the delays. But so far, I think, as can be seen, the first one, we require a court order. The next one, I think we've gone far in that the Ministry of Lands decided to expire the lease so that they could give us a new lease for this particular property. So we are waiting for the invitation to treat, and thereafter we move with the offer. Then the next one is just the issue of the council in Choma. The property was on a land record card, but then it needed to be upgraded to an occupancy license. And the challenge there was that at that point, the council was not issuing these occupancy licenses. So that delayed the process. And then the next one, I think, is just an issue of finding the documents which were lodged within the council. And as the members may be aware, our councils are not computerized, and that is really a challenge which we face when it comes to securitization of these particular mortgages. So, Chair, it's just those particular challenges which we faced, and these have been the reasons why we delayed in terms of concluding all these outstanding mortgages. And then I think the other question which was raised by Honorable Kampiongo was what happened, and for instance, what led to this particular problem. I think, as my MD had said, we were previously before this committee, and we did try to highlight the main challenges which we faced and why we got to this point where we got to over 100 mortgages which were not perfected. So I think at some point, Chair, we had a challenge, especially with the council, in that once we lodged documents, these documents were not being lodged. So it took engagement to a level where we had to engage even the Minister of Local Government for him to be able to write to all these councils and direct that they assist us with registration. So what would happen is that we would lodge these documents and they would be kept at the councils, and because the process is not computerized, locating them would always be a challenge. So most of these got lost within the council or Ministry of Lands, though the processes are computerized, but because they were not acted on within good time, they ended up being misplaced. So I think just to give comfort to the committee that I think so far we've had a lot of progress with securitization of our mortgages, such that we're able to turn around and uplift title within a month after we lodge. So I think with the engagements with the council and also the engagements with the Ministry of Lands, we've been able to get a lot of assistance. It's just that we needed to go back now and clear this backlog which we had. So.
Just switch off the microphone. Honorable Kampiongo, are you satisfied with the question, the response?
Chairperson, to the extent that they are talking about the backlog, and they are giving an assurance that now this problem is under control. If I got a submission, I am satisfied, Chair.
Thank you. I saw the hand, Honorable Nakoka. I'd seen your hand.
Maybe we can pass for now. Oh, sorry, we can pass for now, Chair.
Actually, we can go in and just proceed to the other question.
Thank you, Chair. Controlling Officer, my query is on loan repayments exceeding 84 months. And that is on your memorandum, page 9. You have responded, and it suggests in your response that, in fact, these loans were not for periods exceeding 84 months, but rather it was a problem of data migration, that when this information was migrated into a new system, you ended up with loans which were showing tenures of beyond 84 months, which the Auditor General picked as being contrary to a resolution of the Board of Directors at its 4th ordinary meeting on the 5th of March 2019. So my question really is how we actually ended up migrating data into a system that clearly was not ready to receive the system. So let's start from here. Was this system tested before it was accepted as being ready for use by the society? Thank you.
Permanent Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe before I call upon the MD, Chair, my experience, I think, with system migration, that sometimes I think challenges are faced in terms of what you encounter as errors, and usually I think the developer have time to make the correction. So it's not abnormal, Chair, that such a thing can happen. But in this particular case, I think what was worrying is that the developer could not find the solution, I think, to correct, I think, the system. But what management did is to engage, I think, the people affected, so that they make good of the loans and reduce, I think, in terms of the payment periods, the restructure, so that they fall within, I think, that. So system errors here, they do happen. And in this particular case, I think they could not find a solution, which is very strange. But I've seen, I think, in other instances where the system is being developed, but some perfection also takes place as the system being used, because other issues may arise in the course of implementation. Let me ask, I think, the MD just to shed more light, Chair.
MD, you might proceed.
Thank you so much, Chair. So regarding this particular 84, when we did a deep dive, we noted, Chair, the root cause of this error was because the old system that was internally built by our IT staff was running on a different interest platform, annuity. So when we moved the loans into profits, which is now amortization, which is industry standard, we did note that in recomputing what the monthly repayment should be, it extended the loans automatically to above 84% to make sure that the interest rate is correct and the repayments, the principal, the payments that the customers had signed to pay are also correct. So actually the system did the correct thing in ensuring that the monthly repayments don't change, but the issue was a change from annuity to amortization. So now to correct this particular item was a bit challenging from a system fund. What we needed to do was to close these accounts and then reopen them, because remember they've been run down, so we refinanced them so that they, at the current new balances, are able to fit within the 84 months. So that is the process that we're describing that we've started as a solution. It was a once-off item which occurred at point of migration. For as long as we're not migrating, we don't see this matter from recurring. I submit, Chair.
Honorable Nakoka.
Thank you, Chairperson. So it suggests that the submission here that in fact there was a system error, as it were, isn't exactly representative of what transpired. The system was actually okay, like you're saying, MD. However, it was the matter of how we manage this project of migrating data. Because once this was seen, it should have been dealt with such that by the time the auditors came in, they would have found all this had already happened, so it wouldn't have arisen as a query. So it's fair enough, Chair, if the matter has since been resolved.
Any honorable member with on this matter? Any comment? Okay. Honorable Nakoka? Yeah.
Yes, I also have an issue on the failure to close old loans after refinancing. And maybe a quick question there would be, what's the financial implication of the 12 non-performing loans which are being managed by the society? And is there any financial loss suffered as a result of this failure to close old loans after refinancing?
PS?
Let me ask the MD Chair to answer.
MD, you may proceed.
Thank you so much, Chair. So, Chair, if you allow me just to give clarity on the item. So the item in itself does not result in any financial loss because what happened in this particular instance is somebody got a top-up. Instead of adding, as an example, the 5,000 kwacha top-up to the existing loan, the 5,000 kwacha was running and the existing loan was running, which is obviously not what we have put in policy. It makes it easier to see the loan in totality, how much you owe us, if we only have one account running. And that is the resolution that we've taken, except for the 12. So the 12, Chair, had already hit non-performing, so we had already handed them over to our recoveries team, who would then pursue the full payment of the amount. So we, as management, we thought we recover all the amounts as opposed to trying to restructure the loans, as that would give relief to the customers, since they were already in default. I submit, Chair.
Okay, thank you, witness. Honorable Nakoka.
Thank you, Chair. Let me move on to the issue about mortgage above 25 years. Controlling officer, in your submission, you indicated that this again is a matter arising from a system error on migration. What exactly transpired here to result in this mortgages above 25 years? Was it also the change from annuity to amortization?
Thank you. PS?
Thank you. Let me ask MD Chair to...
No. Oh, yes, Honorable Kampiongo?
Maybe, Chair, as they are responding, the system was provided by the vendor, and certainly when there is migration, it should be anticipated that there could be these errors. Did you engage this vendor to be part of the solution to some of these errors that you are now, which resulted into this situation? I submit. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kampiongo. PS and your team,
Thank you. Let me ask MD, Chair.
you may proceed, MD.
Thank you so much, Chair, and thank you, honorable members. So the finding that is on page 9, which is above 84, and the mortgages above 25 are really the same finding. The difference is the one is unsecured and the other one is the secured product. So the cause was the same as I had submitted earlier, just to confirm the response to the honorable member. Chair, there's a question on whether this matter was escalated. Yes, Chair. Immediately it was brought to our attention. We did have a meeting with the vendor, and when they looked at it, the solution, the best solution was to close these accounts and open them. And as has been stated, Chair, we have been obtaining consents from customers for us to restructure these accounts to close off the ones that have issues and are above the policy number of years that we can have a mortgage running. Chair, I submit.
Did it take the account in the account of the question of Honorable Kampiongo? Has it been done? Yes. Okay, thank you. We move on. Honorable Mazoka.
Thank you, Chair. My question is on non-performing loans mortgages. Controlling officer, in your submission you indicated that the foreclosure has several processes that have to be met before a foreclosure and the repossession occurs. The ultimate result may not be a foreclosure when the matters are escalated to courts of law, as the customer may be granted consent to pay reduced amounts. In other instances, customers may be paying through payment plans, or there may be a delay in foreclosure due to challenges with security. Why should you let loans be non-performing for periods ranging from 2 to 13 years? Controlling officer. Thank you, Chair.
Witness, the PS and your team may respond to that question.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Let me ask management on operational issue.
Thank you so much, Chair. Regarding the foreclosure process, why it takes long, Chair, we have noted that the process itself to obtain consent from court takes long. And once it's granted, if what is granted is a payment plan, a consent payment plan from the courts of law, if the mortgage, for example, is a 15-year loan, or, and the customer applies to pay smaller amounts, it means that the loan will then be extended to beyond 16 years. So, Chair, for our own internal reporting process and accounting, we do maintain them on the default list so that they're still monitored by our recoveries team to ensure that we have sight of them and that they're paying on a monthly basis. So you will find that they will be sitting on our books because they are paying monthly reduced amounts, not what was agreed initially, but what has been consented with the courts of law. So it may take long. In other instances, once the court process is done, we then have to put up the properties on the market, advertise them, until such a time that we find a buyer. And hence, these processes is what normally delays the time it takes, Chair. But however, Chair, I just want to bring to the fore the fact that the society has made significant improvements in terms of recoveries, but also just underwriting, to the extent that we are now below market average, sitting at 4.2%. I submit, Chair.
Okay, thank you for that response. Honorable Kampiongo.
Thank you, Chair. Controlling officer, I'll take you to your response on page 14 regarding the unregistered mortgages. In your response, you informed this committee that the number of unregistered mortgages stands at 17, with a value of 3,742,000 kwacha, and you stated that all these have certificates of title. And these mortgages which have remained unregistered due to the need to obtain court orders or upgrade documents, the process to complete registration is underway. Would you kindly share with this committee how long you think it will take to get to have all these mortgages registered? Thank you, Chair.
The PS, your team.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Let me ask management, I think, to answer that question.
Proceed.
Thank you so much, Chair. The 17 mortgages are at various stages, Chair, but perhaps to get an estimated time frame for the purposes of answering the honorable member, I will ask our society secretary perhaps to submit, but we have endeavored to show where each and every mortgage is, and in instances where we've had estimates coming in from external counsel that are handling these matters, we have indicated in the table. But I think perhaps for an estimated time frame for closure of all of them, Chair, allow me to call upon our society secretary.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Chair. So through the Chair, these particular mortgages are at various stages. So there are some that we're able to turn around within the shortest possible time. For instance, as we're reporting, I think we're able to close off one, but then we could not update before the submission of this particular memorandum. So, Chair, I think the time frame which we would give is that we would be able to close these particular mortgages, say by at least in a period of 6 months. And this is because the ones that will take long are the ones, Chair, where, for instance, we've gone to court and we are asking the court to give us orders. So I think given the fact that these processes take an estimation of, say, 3 to 6 months, I think that's the period which we would be asking for from this, from the honorable members, to say we would close all of these off within the period, but with the rider that some are easier for us to close, and these should be done even by March. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, may I proceed, Honorable Kampiongo?
Chair, just on that one, I've taken, you have really given a detailed account on the stages where all these mortgages are. As you outsource for these legal services from private law firms, do you agree in terms of the period that the assignment you give to these law firms take?
Witness, there's that question.
Thank you, Chair. Let me ask the management, I think the society secretary that probably maybe to answer that one.
Please.
Through the Chair. So just to respond that at the point of engaging external counsel, we do have service level agreements which we enter into with them, and these agreements do have timelines. Yes, Chair, they do have timelines, and usually for these processes, for instance, perfection of securities and obtaining duplicate titles, usually would give a period of, say, 12 months. But, Chair, just to indicate that these are subject to third-party institutions like the Ministry of Lands and the councils, and most of the time we have no control with regards to the time that they take to attend to our particular issues. So because of that, you find that maybe it might go even over the period which we would have agreed upon with the external counsel. Thank you, Chair. I submit.
Honorable Kampiongo, are you done with that one?
Chair, I'm done with this one. Maybe I can have my last one.
Yeah, just back before you come in, Honorable Nakoka, you had a burning issue.
A rider on this issue, Chair, on the Secretary mentioning engagement with the external counsel, I just want to find out in terms of their costs, and I'm bringing this forward having seen with the other entities where you will find an institution spending millions on legal fees chasing after 300,000. So I would like to get an idea as to whether we do have a cap as an institution, given that this is part of your core business. So from time to time you will have to be engaging external counsel to chase after this. But how close are you watching this to ensure that it doesn't become a drain on your resources? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me ask management and team to answer.
Proceed, MD.
Thank you so much, through the chair. Just to confirm, yes, that observation is very, very valid. And as management chair, what we've done is when we engage legal counsel, we've got a panel that deals with such cases. We have a standard rate, a standard fee that we pay. We pay it on onboarding, on submitting the case, and half, and then the last when the case is being successful. So we've got a standard amount, and we don't pay anything beyond that approved amount. I submit, Chair.
You still want to go?
Not on that one, Chair, but it's something that is related to mortgages. Before Honorable Kantongo comes in.
Okay.
Thank you. PS, I want to take you back to page 13 of your memorandum on staff mortgages above 1 million. It's something we thought was actually adequately explained in your submission, but a closer look at it, again, it elicits some questions. In here, the query was that you had a maximum of 1 million in terms of staff mortgages allowed, but there were about 6 mortgages which were above 1 million at the time of the audit. And your explanation is that that cap was actually removed, and they increased, I think, to 1.5 million, and I think that 1.5 million was also eventually removed in order for it to be open-ended, if my memory serves me right. But what is of interest, Chair, is the last paragraph in the submission, which says, note that staff terms and conditions of service are read together with other policies and board resolutions, and hence where a board resolution is passed, the implementation is immediate. I pause there, Chair. When it comes to staff matters, for some reason this becomes a very emotive issue. Not a few days ago we had personal to order vehicles, which, if I remember very well, when this institution also appeared before us, there had a number of staff related issues last time. And MD, it looks like there's quite a lot of activity now. It looks like we have started on a reasonably promising note. The situation is better than it was the last time we looked at the building society, but we are not there yet. So back to this question about loans relating to staff. Are you suggesting here that the board makes a decision, it becomes immediately implementable, even when the policies would be prescribing something else? I would like an answer to that one before I make a follow-up question, Chair. Maybe I can make it clear, because the understanding of the normal way of doing things is that the board should approve a change in the policy, rather than them making a pronouncement that overrides the policy. Otherwise, they begin to make decisions outside the policies, because the policies are binding on everybody, including the board. However, the board has got the power to change the policy, not to make decisions that contradict the policy. So can we reconcile what this statement means here and how it was relevant to this staff loans issue?
PS.
Thank you. Let me ask MD and team to provide the answer.
Thank you so much, Chair. So this particular item, Chair, 2 things. Number 1, policies are revised every 2 years to capture all the changes that occurred. Normally, the policies that we don't change every other time, they are normally revised every 2 years. Having said that, Chair, the authority of staff lending comes from our credit lending policy. So the credit lending policy, Chair, is not just for staff, it's for all customers. So the credit lending policy was correct, it was adjusted, but there was a time lag in adjusting the staff lending policy. And you will see that we highlighted this particular matter when it came to the tenors as well. So what we have done to correct this was to actually delete anything within the staff policy that talks about lending, because the authority for lending is actually the credit policy. So what we've done is to amend it and to point it to the correct policy, which is the credit policy, which is the authority for any form of lending, whether it's to a staff member or a customer. I submit, Chair.
Honorable Kampyongo, I think that one is very loud and clear. Honorable Kampyongo, thank you.
You're done?
No, it's done.
Okay. Controlling officer, I'll take you to page 16 of your submission, where there's a query regarding loss of rentals due to non-occupants. There was a query regarding these 47 unoccupied offices located in various properties that were vacant for periods ranging 1 to 43 months. And this resulted in you failing to correct rentals to the tune of 3,998,733 kwacha. In your response, you informed us that out of these 47 properties, you only have now remained with 29 vacant spaces, and obviously you alluded to the COVID situation as a reason for these non-occupants. The 29 vacant spaces,
even for people occupying